Hello, and welcome to Living in Lansing, Michigan, your resource for everything you need to know if you're thinking about moving to the greater Lansing area. Now, we're here for you, whether you're already a resident and you're just thinking about making a move to a new house, downsizing, upgrading, whatever it is. You're moving from across the state to the Lansing area, or maybe even you're coming from across the country to Michigan for the first time. We are here to give you all the information you need to make a great decision. Today, we're going to celebrate the new year and we're going to talk about the real estate market. Looking at data from the Greater Lansing area 2024 wrap up and looking at some national predictions for 2025 to help educate you. When should you buy? When should you move? Should you think about selling your current home? Everything you need to know right here today. Now, like I said, we are going to look at a little bit of the national data, but I always like to say looking at national weather isn't really going to prepare you for what you need in your local market. So we're going to spend a little bit of extra time diving into the local real estate market so you have the most precise information here in the Greater Lansing area. I am Brooks Warner, local real estate agent with the mid-home team at Keller Williams. Been living in this area my entire life and happy to be a resource for you. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments or reach out to me via email, text, whatever you like. All of my contact information is here on the channel and in the description of this video. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on notifications so you can keep up to date with all the information that we're providing you weekly. Okay, we're going to start off talking about 2024 data like I had just mentioned. The first one that I want to mention is net migration. So look at a couple different resources from national companies like Pods, Move Buddha, and things like that. Obviously, their data varies, but basically showing Michigan in general. Unfortunately, no one tracks it down super tight to the Greater Lansing area, but Michigan in general had a slightly positive net migration last year, which means more people are moving into Michigan than are moving out. But it's a pretty small percentage. It is flat to just a little bit positive based off from all the resources I saw. So that's one indication of what's happening in the real estate market. We do have positive migration, which is a good thing for sales prices, higher demand, things like that. So with that, we're going to roll into some of the other local stats. Here in the Greater Lansing area, we saw a price increase. That's right. Regardless of what you heard on national data, there are areas out there that are having a positive increase in home values. And Greater Lansing was 7% last year. So on average, we saw 7% appreciation in home values. All right, now we're going to talk about another one of my favorite stats for helping figure out demand level for homes in the Greater Lansing area. List price to sales price ratio. So what percentage of asking price are sellers getting? And for 2024 in the Greater Lansing area, we actually averaged 100.5%. That's right. Regardless of what you heard in national news, the Greater Lansing area was actually selling homes for more than they were listed for on average. 0.5% more, so not huge, but more. Now, compare that to 2023, we were 100.9%. So been pretty steady for the last couple of years at asking price or just over asking price. Very healthy real estate market. If you're looking to buy, be prepared to pay a list price. If you're thinking about selling, the great news is homes that are priced appropriately, marketed well, are selling at or slightly above asking price. Okay, next on my list is days on market. That is another great measure of how quickly are things selling? What is the demand like? And in the Greater Lansing area, for the entire year of 2024, we averaged 10 days on market. So that means if we take all the homes that had sold last year and how long they were on the market, find the median, and it's only 10 days. So that's very, very quickly, a lot faster than other things that you may have heard in the news, far different than other areas. So in wrapping up on the 2024 market, we have median list price to sales price ratio is over 100%. We ended the year at 100.5%, so slightly over 100%. And we ended the year with the median days on market being only 10 days. So these are all indications of a strong real estate market in the Greater Lansing area. Even though interest rates are up, there's been negative news, we were in an election year, we still had a really strong real estate market. Now we're going to take a little bit and talk about what we see coming down for 2025 to help you make plans. And then we're going to wrap up with, is now the right time to buy? What is the cost of buying now versus later? Interest rate conversation and some fun math to go along with that. All right, 2025 real estate market, what is there to predict? So all the information I'm going to share with you today is gathered from different national sources. We will put the links to all of them here in the description. The biggest one that everyone's asking about is interest rate. What's going to happen with interest rates? We have some indication of what we can expect next year. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but I'm going to start with kind of a blunt wake-up call, if you will. If you are someone who's watching this video and you think that you're waiting for 4% interest rates to come back around before you buy, it's time that you realize that will likely never happen again. There's only been a handful of years in mortgage history that you could get below a 4% or below mortgage. That likely is not happening maybe ever again in our lifetime, but certainly no indication of it coming up soon. And if it came out of nowhere, it would probably be because of some other major negative economic event that caused that to happen. So likely 4% isn't coming around. Where are they going to end up? So we have some resources here that I'll post a slide in the video here that the consensus is by the end of 2025, interest rates are probably going to be right around 6%. Today, when I'm recording this, I think Freddie Mac's last update was like 6.83%. Give you the list of sources here real quick, and they all vary from slightly over 6 to slightly below 6, averaging right around 6 flat. Okay, as you can see on the slide here behind me, Home Builders Association is predicting a less than 6% interest rate by the end of 2025. That doesn't mean going into 2025 it's going to really quick drop down to 6. Their prediction is by the end of the year. So like I had mentioned, all these kind of show a trickle down to near 6 by the end of 2025. So Home Builders Association, they're predicting less than 6. National Association of Realtors, they are predicting near 6. Mortgage Brokers Association is predicting 6 flat. Freddie Mac is predicting slightly above 6. And Goldman Sachs came up with 6.1%. So here are a few of the resources that we looked at when we're talking about interest rate. Most people's prediction, as you can see, all those are really close. We're going to see a slight trickle down in interest rates throughout 2025. Okay, what other points of data should we be looking at in 2025? I'm going to talk about inventory of homes in the Greater Lansing area in 2023 and 2024. 2023 was the lowest year of home resale inventory in Greater Lansing history as far back as we had tracking. That appears to be the bottom. 2024, we were up a little bit in inventory, and we are going into 2025 with a little bit more inventory than we did at the end of 2023 going into 2024. So current predictions is we're going to see slightly more inventory. That means if you're a buyer, you got a little bit more homes to choose from than you did in previous last couple of years. And if you're a seller, you probably got a little bit more competition of homes on the market. So make sure that you are taking these things into consideration when you're getting ready to buy or sell a home. All right, so we just talked about the inventory being a little bit higher by the looks of things as far as what we can predict for the Greater Lansing area in 2025. That pairs nicely with the slide I'm going to throw out behind us, which is from National Association of Realtors. They track total number of home sales every year. In 2023 and 2024 were both very low in comparison to the years before that. The prediction is we've kind of hit the bottom. It seems like we're starting to pick back up, so there'll likely be more transactions that are happening in 2025 than there did 2024, which makes total sense with that little more inventory and interest rates potentially coming down a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is a quick little wrap up about what we think supply demand looks like in the Greater Lansing area. I've kind of covered it all already, so this will be a quick wrap up, and then I'm going to lead you through a quick exercise to help figure out what is the benefit or what is the cost of waiting when it comes to the real estate market. So here's what we know. Predictions are interest rates are going to end somewhere near 6 towards the end of 2025, which will be about 0.75% lower than what they are going in into 2025. The other thing that we know from Greater Lansing data is our inventory seems to be slightly higher going into the new year than it was last year, which is going to indicate potentially more inventory for people to pick from if we're thinking about buying. Our home prices are going up. They have consistently gone up. Last year, we ended at 7%. List price to sales price ratio. What's the demand like? Are we seeing multiple offers on properties? We are seeing multiple offers on properties still. That's how we're ending up with just over 100% for list price to sales price ratio. We ended the year at 100.5%. Days on market. How much time do you have to get into a home? How quickly are the good homes selling? Well, the median was 10 days on market. So the really great homes that are priced well are what most buyers are looking for, are getting bought up really, really quick. So in conclusion, we have high buyer demand, relatively low supply that looks like it's going to get maybe a little bit higher next year. We'll see how that ends up, but strong market and things are looking great. Okay, now for a fun little exercise to do with interest rates. So as I had said earlier in the video, at the end of the year last year for 2024, our median sales price in the Greater Lansing area was $226,800. So that's what I'm going to use for our example. So if you were to buy a $226,000 house with 20% down at 7% interest, your monthly principal and interest payment is going to be $1,202. Now, the predictions are rates are going to get down to about 6%. So if we were to wait to buy that same $226,000 house at 6%, your monthly payment is going to be $1,084. That's $118 a month in savings, which I can totally understand that could be very important to a potential buyer to save $118 a month. However, if we add all that up, you're saving $1,416 a year by waiting to buy at 6% interest. Now, keep in mind, the example I'm giving here is based off from 7%, which we're actually a little bit below 7%, and we don't know if we're going to get all the way down to 6. So you may be waiting to save even less than $118 a month is what I'm going to say with that. Now, let's look at the flip side of this. The median sales price is $226,800. So if we're looking at that home and we continue to see the same appreciation that we have in the Greater Lansing area for the past few years, last year ending at 7%, well, 7% of $226,000 is almost $16,000 in equity growth that you would have if you bought a year sooner rather than waiting for interest rates. So minus your $1,400 in savings for having a cheaper monthly payment for a year, you're still looking at making $14,400 in net worth gain by paying the higher interest rate and not waiting to buy because prices are rising so much still. And that was at 7%. Even if we were to say 7% appreciation, even if we were to say something more conservative in that 3 to 4% appreciation in a more balanced market, which we could be moving into, still looking at growing your net worth by almost $10,000 in a year just by pulling the trigger sooner and not waiting for this interest rate to change. So something to consider long term for your wealth. Is it better to buy now, or is it better to wait for that interest rate that may or may not show up? Something to think about. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to talk with anyone and walk you through this more specifically for your price. Maybe you're a first-time home buyer and you have rent to consider, and you're going to buy a $150,000 house instead of a $226,000 house, and you want to know, what does that look like? Happy to help you with that. Or maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum and you want to buy a $500,000 house. How does that affect your monthly payment versus net worth gain over the course of a year? I'd be happy to help anyone have that conversation. Again, I am Brooks Warner with the Mint Home team at Keller Williams, local real estate agent right here in the Greater Lansing area. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, or you think about buying a home, selling a home, making a move in the Greater Lansing area, please feel free to reach out to us. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you can see when our next video drops to give you the information you need to make a great real estate choice in the Greater Lansing area. Have a great day.